organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV.
September 11th was a fateful day in American history. Now, with the Iraq conflict with ISIS, will we see a history repeat itself?
And our very own Governor Branstad visited campus today. Let's see what he has to say to young voters.
And in sports,
we take an in-depth look at this week's matchup against Iowa State.
We have all this for you on tonight's episode of Daily Iowan TV. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nick Fisher.
And I'm Greta Miley. As we all know, today is the 13th anniversary of 9/11. Yesterday, President Barack Obama delivered his strategy to defeat Islamic State militants in Iraq and Syria. Reporter Taylor Smith connects these two in her story.
Our objective is clear. We will degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL through a comprehensive and sustained counterterrorism strategy.
After tuning in to President Barack Obama's speech, international relations professor Brian Lai shared with me what the public should be prepared for.
So I think what Obama was doing is first sort of laying out his plan for how to sort of deal with ISIS, and then sort of second, preparing the public for sort of the costs of that plan potentially.
But will this cost raise awareness for American citizens who are worried about terrorism striking in the U.S.?
The experts that follow this much more closely indicate that it's not a matter of if we'll be attacked again, it's a matter of when.
Taylor Smith, Daily Iowan TV.
Thank you, Taylor. And we dug a little deeper into the anniversary by asking students how they were affected. Take a look.
I think it's a really important time of our history as a country to just remember, those that have served, as well as just remembering how to move forward in the future as well. But I think primarily it's a time to remember those that were unfortunately lost during that day.
Aside from 9/11, this week was also Suicide Prevention Week. I went to investigate how the topic impacts our students. Over the past decade, suicide rates have been increasing, and while this means that more people have had to experience the loss it brings, Professor John Westfeld said this has also brought an increase in awareness.
On the one hand, it continues to be a big issue. We're concerned about the rates, we're concerned about how often it happens. On the other hand, I feel like it's out in the open. The topic is out in the open a lot more than it was when I first came into the field. So for that, I feel like that's a good thing.
While suicide is the 10th leading cause of death for people in America, it is the second leading cause of death for college-age students, or people ages 15 to 24.
It's just an unbelievable chain of thoughts that goes through people's heads, but
Westfeld himself was touched by suicide at a young age and has since been wanting to bring about change. Yesterday on World Suicide Prevention Day, he hosted a workshop for students on warning signs, intervention strategies, and resources regarding suicide. Westfeld shared with me the main point he wanted students to understand.
They are concerned about someone else, not to be afraid to reach out to them and try to determine what kind of risk is there here, and to try to help that person get help, get them in treatment. Not to give up if at first the person resists treatment, because most people do. And if they themselves are feeling depressed or suicidal, for them to seek help.
If you or someone you know is experiencing suicidal thoughts, Westfeld encourages you to seek counseling or call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.
And as the political season starts to heat up, our own Governor Branstad came to the UI campus to talk to students. We have the inside look on what he had to say.
I want to make sure that students only borrow what they need to, but I also want to give options to help them reduce their debt and also to try to keep the cost of getting higher education affordable.
The governor also told students that they are the future, and he knows how important their vote can be.
Well, Nick, I thought that our break from the heat was nice, but the weather we had today was very cold.
Yeah, I know, Greta. When I was walking to campus today, I thought I was in the middle of November. I hope that the weather gets a little bit warmer for the game this weekend. Hopefully our own Anna Theodosis has some good news for us weather-wise. Anna?
Well, this morning was quite the shock weather-wise. We woke up to temperatures only in the 40s. If you aren't ready for winter, I'm sorry, but it seems like she's knocking on the door. So let's take a look at the weather. This cold weather is here to stay. Friday morning, we'll have temperatures reaching only the high 40s with a 50% chance of rain. Friday afternoon will bring us a high of 52 degrees with an even bigger chance of that rain. And as the day goes on and night comes in, the rain will move on out and the temps will dip back down, hovering right around 47 degrees. Now for the rest of the week. For Hawkeye football Saturday, the sun will be out and we'll get a milder taste of fall with temperatures reaching the low 60s. On Sunday, we're going to see temps reaching the high 60s, but some clouds will roll in. To start off next week, thunderstorms will take over Monday with temperatures staying in the high 60s. Through the rest of the next week, temps should remain consistently in the high 60s to low 70s range without a chance for that rain. That's all I have for you right now. All in all, it looks like the cold weather is just making a short appearance before making way for a more September-like forecast. Greta, Nick, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Anna. As we all know, the Iowa versus Iowa State game is this weekend, and this in-state rivalry is the talk of the campus. We have some Hawkeye buzz from our students around campus.
I'm expecting the Hawks to win, of course, but I don't know, I think it's a great rivalry, especially for the state, just because everybody in the state kind of comes together. Even though it is a rivalry, it's nice to see everybody kind of enthusiastic about the state in general. So that's what I like about the Cyhawk series.
I am very excited, and I hope we just go out there and we kick some Cyclone butt.
Well, Nick, some students seem really excited for the game this weekend.
Yeah, Greta, it really is a highlight in the football season. Let's see what our sports team has for us, and they have everything black and gold.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Iowan TV Sports pregame show, joined by Jalen Socek. I'm Chelsea Brown.
Tonight we take a look at one Hawkeye who is excelling at his new position on the gridiron and a special football throwback Thursday on this weekend's Cyhawk matchup. But first, an inside look at this week's football preview as Iowa and Iowa State meet for the 62nd time in school history. Let's see how these two teams match up. Hawkeyes versus Cyclones, a huge in-state rivalry and one of Iowa's biggest dogfights.
Being there the first time, you know, it was a big experience. It was just a lot of people out there, and I didn't know that they hate us like that, and I got to be a part of that, so that was different. But this time, you know, I played in the first game, so now I know what to expect, and just got to get the job done.
Saturday's matchup will be similar of past battles, with Iowa leading the series 40-21 and 23-13 when Iowa State visits Kinnick Stadium. Going into the weekend, Iowa bests Iowa State with a 2-0 record, Iowa State a 4-0-2, putting them at the bottom of the Big 12 Conference. Kirk Ferentz and company are 55-3 against Big 12 foes. According to the numbers, these two teams are not too different except when it comes to passing yards. Iowa significantly tops the Cyclones, ranking 34th in the category, compared to State at 101. Iowa averages 296 passing yards a game. Rushing yards and points scored, both a close race between the pair, but Iowa once again tops State when it comes to allowing touchdowns. Iowa averages only 18 points scored against them, that's 43rd in the nation. Now let's take a look at some of the key players in this matchup. It's Hawkeye Jake Rudock versus State's Sam Richardson at the QB position. Both nearly equal when comparing pass completions, but Rudock has nearly doubled Richardson's throwing and has yet to throw an interception compared to Richardson's 3 picked-off passes. Iowa has yet to establish a key running back, but Iowa State's lead man is senior Aaron Wimberly, but the Cyclones will have to utilize their pass offense as they go up against Iowa, who ranks 10th in the nation in rushing defense, only allowing 115 rush yards in their first 2 games and not a single rushing touchdown. Senior wide receiver Jarvis West leads the Cyclones at 90 reception yards with freshman receiver Alan Lazard. Lazard's averaging 22.5 yards a catch. Jalen Socek, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
It's a classic Kirk Ferentz story in the making, an under-recruited player getting the chance to prove themselves as an elite player. This is a case that can be made with defensive back Greg Maben.
Whitney Blakemore has the story.
When sophomore Greg Maben came to Iowa, he had something to prove as the Hawkeyes were the only powerhouse school to recruit him. But getting that chance to prove himself wasn't easy. He redshirted in 2012 and did not see any game action in 2013. The then wide receiver began to question if he was in the right place. In the spring, Greg Maven went into Kirk Ferentz's office hoping to change his number from 88 to 13. But when he left his office, not only was his number changed, but he also had his position changed entirely.
It's been a hard transition. I'm not gonna lie, but I've got some really good coaching. Coach Parker's coached me up really good, teaching me all the techniques that you need as a defensive back. So I feel like that's probably helped me the most.
During spring training and preseason practice, Maven fought for his cornerback spot against his own roommate Maurice Fleming, ultimately earning first string in both games so far this season.
Greg Maven has done an outstanding job at cornerback. He's able to run with our receivers, and he's really athletic, and he can jump. He has long arms, so and he knows how to go out there and compete and get the ball out. So he's done a really good job.
This year's season opener against Northern Iowa was Maven's first time to take the field not only as a Hawkeye, but also as a defensive back. He recorded 4 total tackles and put up an interception in the fourth quarter to secure the win.
It was really unreal. I've been waiting for that moment for a long time now to actually step on the field and then to get my first interception in my first game. It was just a blessing.
The position change has worked in his favor. Whitney Blakemore, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Iowa State with a long rival history beginning in 1894, but it was the Cyclones that took that win in a 16-8 finish. The rival still continues today, but the odds seem to be in the Hawkeyes' favor.
With that, we begin a special edition of Throwback Thursday where we take a look at numerous friendly rival statistics from each team.
And we start off with the last time Iowa State won a conference championship way back in 1912. Iowa State has only won 2 conference championships in school history, which date back to their membership in the Missouri Valley Intercollegiate Athletic Association.
Yeah, Chelsea, and to put some perspective into that, the price of gas during that time period ranged from 18 to 21 cents per gallon. The Hawkeyes have a total of 13 conference championships under their belts, with 11 of those being part of the Big Ten Conference. Iowa has also appeared in 27 bowl games in school history and has a record of 14, 12, and 1.
Iowa State records a 3-9 record in bowl games. The last time Iowa State appeared in a bowl game was in 2012, where they played the University of Tulsa in the Liberty Bowl.
And as Chelsea mentioned, the year 2012 was also the last time Iowa State won against the Hawks. The Cyclones defeated the Hawks on their own turf with a low-scoring game of 9-6.
You're right, Jalen, and this matchup always brings a scare to the Hawkeyes, and the Hawks currently hold a 1-game winning streak in 2013 against the Cyclones, but the previous matchup, the Cyclones were on a 2-game winning streak.
Head coach Kirk Ferentz holds only a record of 7-8 in the series since 1999, but hopefully this weekend Ferentz's squad can capture that Cy-Hawk trophy in Kinnick Stadium.
Well, that'll do it for us here in the sports studio tonight, but be sure to tune in every Thursday night for our weekly football pregame show.
And don't forget to pick up a print copy of pregame in tomorrow's edition of the Daily Iowan.
And you can get all your updates during Saturday's game on our blog at dailyiowans.sports.com, as we'll be bringing you live updates from Kinnick Stadium.
Greta, Nick, back to you at the desk.
And now we have an exclusive look into tomorrow's pages of the Daily Iowan. Senator Tom Harkin is having his last steak fry, and both Hillary and Bill Clinton will be at the event.
And they have a story on the third kid captain, Faith Lemaster, for the football season. We have one more story before we leave tonight. A Dutch student pulled a fast one on her family and went to Southeast Asia for 5 weeks. But she did it without leaving her home. According to the Metro UK, Zilla Vandenborn used Photoshop to create photos to make it look like she was vacationing and posted them to Facebook. Zilla says she did this as an experiment to show how far we can manipulate an image that we put out to the world. Her family thought she was on vacation the whole time. Well, that is it for our show tonight. You can get another look at Daily Iowan TV at the same time Sunday night or anytime on YouTube.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.
Can't pick up a copy of the Daily Iowan? Are you worried about how you're going to find out about the latest news in Iowa City and the University of Iowa? Well, look no further. You can download the Daily Iowan mobile app on your iPhone for the area's best news coverage. And you can also read and watch us on your iPad. You can always find current and past Daily Iowan stories at dailyiowans.com. The Daily Iowan is now on TV, online, and in your pocket. If it happens, it's news to us.